talking about collective action here. It's the headline of the World Economic Forum this year. Many of the challenges that we're talking about, like climate change or nature degradation, is by nature a public good, a global public good challenge, meaning that solving them benefits everybody, but no one alone can solve them. So by nature, this problem requires collective action. So that's why I'm thrilled to have that chat with you, Karl. We have hundreds of coalitions in pretty much every industry of companies coming together, but they often fail, or at least they're important building blocks, but they don't go fast enough. To get another colleague, Rebecca Anderson, for instance, from Harvard Business School, she clearly shows that one of the most advanced of this coalition in the primal industry, for instance, failed on deforestation. So why is self-regulation of an industry not enough?
I hear two key issues. The first one is trust. Companies, we are in such a hyper-competitive world that people don't trust each other. Now, at this point, we see a second hurdle, and Knut just published a paper on this in HBR, together with colleagues from Oxford and Harvard, on legal issues. The key issue is that, of course, a lot of people say, I cannot talk to my colleagues. It looks like we're building a cartel. So, or the lawyers, we may get sued. And in their very depressing article, I must say, they have examples where lawyers stepped up and said, oh, look at these two bigwigs collaborating on the environment. And there's this really depressing sentence there that says collaboration on a shared climate goal may be simply illegal. I read that and got really angry. But that's the case now. And so this is homework for you. Yeah? Go to your industry organizations or call up your representatives and say, we need to change competitive law. Monopoly is bad. We don't want collusion. But what we want is pre-competitive collaboration.
Two things that can stand in the way of collective action, trust and legal issues. And what's important to sustain the effort of collective action is that is when you need to work with government or with different type of organization to sustain this effort, right?
Absolutely. So we need to bring the lawyers in the room. We need maybe ideally the government so that they can listen to what we are talking about. And we're not talking about fixing prices or reducing quantities, but we're talking about the shared goal, namely to become more sustainable.
And if we remember all the success stories of collective action at the global level, eradicating smallpox, or saving or restoring our ozone layer, they required government leaders, business leaders and associations, but then an organization like a UN entity that will maintain these efforts in the 70s and the 80s, respectively. So, what are the three key tips or, call to action that you want to leave our audience with to push that agenda?
Okay, so for board members, the first thing you can change is the remuneration of your executive suite, and then throughout the organization. I often ask when I teach executives, how many of you have green KPIs in your bonus package? Most of them, 0. You need, and that's homework for all of you. Go home and start doing this. The second thing is, we heard about greenwashing. I see too much greenwashing. Namely, that people talk a good talk, but then they lobby against the very things that they're proclaiming in public. And the other issue is related to KPIs again, that was named before, is we live in very difficult times. There's a war, we have inflation. So I see now ESG, and in particular the E, going backwards. Going backwards because people are so concerned on the short term. So board members always hide in front of me behind their fiduciary duty. And then I ask, and sorry I get back to the first point, how many bad quarters can your CEO have before you fire her, him, them? Popular answer, 3 quarters. Yeah, how are we going to solve a problem until 2050 or 2100 if your CEOs or C-suite think 3 quarters in advance?
Yes.
You are responsible for the longer-term KPI. So these packages, your remuneration packages need to have a 3-year element, a 5-year element, or even further out.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Karl.
Thank you.